Hello, my algebra students. I have seen and heard from you guys that you are struggling a little bit with this fluency practice assignment that I assigned you guys. So I wanted to do a quick overview of it. I did assign some videos that can help with it, as well as the chapter resources. Sorry, I should have posted those before. I thought you guys could see them automatically. I didn't know I had to assign them, but they're assigned now and should show up in your assignments. I'll show you in just a second. But this fluency practice I thought was going to be a good idea to get an idea where you guys are at with fractions and decimals, so that when we get into multi-step equations that are going to have fractions and decimals in it, like these ones, I'll know how much review you guys need. So let's look at number 1, where you have to see which statements are correct and either put them in the box that says correct or the box that says not correct. I'm going to switch screens here for a second to this online whiteboard thing. Sorry, I write worse with the mouse than I do with the marker on board. But just quickly to show you, when you are dividing anything to do with a fraction, remember you take the whole number and you put it over 1 to make it into a fraction. And then your division sign is going to turn into a multiplication sign. And then you have to take the reciprocal of this, which means you flip it and multiply straight across. So you should have 3 over 1. This becomes multiplication. And then you use your reciprocal, 2 over 1. And right now we're not going to put equals anything because we're going to multiply this out and see if it's true. So 3 times 2, your numerator is going to be 6. 1 times 1, your denominator is going to be 1. We know any number over 1 is just that number, so it equals 6. So this one you would want to put, oops, I don't know why it's drawing on this screen, but this one you would want to just put in the box that says correct. Okay, so we can look at another one. 1/3 divided by 3 equals 1. So let's go back to the other screen. So we have 1/3 divided by 3 equals, what was it? 1. Oops, divided by 3 equals 1. Sorry. Okay, so same thing. This is just going to stay the same. The first thing always stays the same. Your division sign turns into a multiplication sign. Then you take the reciprocal, so this would be the same as 3 over 1. So the reciprocal of 3 over 1 is going to be 1 over 3. And then once you get here for fractions, you don't have to find a common denominator or anything like that. All you do is multiply straight across. So 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 3 is 9. So 1/3 divided by 3 would be 1/9. So that is not correct. So you would move this one into the box that says not correct. Okay. So on this next part, division with mixed numbers, you have to remember how to turn mix numbers into fractions so that you can multiply them. So we have 3 3/5 divided by 1 1/8. Okay, so first thing you want to do is change your mixed numbers into fraction. So the way you do that is you multiply your denominator by your whole number. So 3 times 5, that would give us 15. Okay, 5 times 3 equals 15. Then you take that answer and you add your numerator. Okay, so 5 times 3 is 15. 15 plus 3 is 18. So that would be 18, and your denominator stays the same. So 3 3/5 is the same thing as 18 over 5. And you would know that because if you divide 5 into 18, you're going to get a whole number of 3 with the remainder of 3. So that's how you get your 3 3/5. Okay, so division is going to change to multiplication just like before. And then we do the same thing with this one. 8 times 1, and that gives us 8, plus 1, which gives us 9. So we'll have 9/8, but we need to use the reciprocal of that. So we need to flip it for our multiplication to be 8/9. Okay, now again, you don't have to find the common denominator or anything. Once you have it here, you just multiply straight across. So you have 18 times 8. So let's see, 8 times 8 is 64. Carry the 6. 14, 144 on the top. And then 5 times 9 is 45. And I am going to cheat and double check it with my calculator. Okay, so we did 18 times 8. Check that first. Okay. Good. Okay, so now we take our 144 and divide 45. We get 3 as our whole number. Okay, so notice how on your calculator, and this is why I tell you guys you have to know how to use your calculator. Okay, this 0.2 here doesn't mean that it is a remainder of 2. Okay, so you would have to find 45 times 3 is 135. So 144 minus 135, your remainder is actually 9. So then that would give you 3 and 9 over 5. Sorry, 9 over 45. And then that can be reduced because 9 goes into 9 and 9 goes into 45. So it would be 3 and 9 goes into 9 one time and 9 goes into 45 5 times. So 3 1/5 should be your answer. Okay, so then on your sheet here, you would type into the box 3 1/5. Okay, decimals, remember, you're lining up your decimal point anytime you're adding or subtracting. And then once you get those two answers, you multiply them together. That's what that dot means. Here, you're going to multiply them to see if your product is greater than 3. So do the same thing we did for the division. Turn your mixed numbers into fractions. And then you just multiply straight across. And then divide your answer, the numerator by the denominator, to get your mixed number to see if it is greater than 3 or not greater than 3. Okay, a total of 3 1/4 inch of rain fell in July. Total of 2 7/8 inch of rain fell in August. How many times greater is the amount of rain that fell in July than the amount of rain that fell in August? So we are looking for a difference here, right? Because we're asking which one is greater than the other. So that tells us difference, and difference means subtraction. So in subtraction, you are going to have to find a common denominator to be able to subtract or add. That's when you find the common denominator. So you're going to have to turn both of these into an improper fraction, a mixed number into an improper fraction, and then find the common denominator and then subtract your two mixed numbers. So let's see. So we have 3 1/4 and 2 7/8. Okay. So again, multiply. 4 times 3 is 12, add 1 is 13. And then keep your 4. And then subtract. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 7 is 23. 8s. Okay, so we need to find a common denominator for the 4 and the 8. So because 4 goes into 8, we can keep our 8 the same. So 4 goes into 8 2 times. So we have to multiply by 2 on our numerator and our denominator. So we get 26 over 8 minus 23 over 8. And that's going to give us 3/8. Okay, 26 minus 23 is 3, and then you don't subtract the denominators, those just stay the same. So your answer would be a difference of 3/8. Okay, so here you're going to have to go through finding a common denominator and then subtracting these, and then after you get that, you change this mixed number into an improper fraction, change it to multiplication, and multiply by the reciprocal, like we did earlier. Okay, whenever you're solving for an unknown, you're going to do the opposite. So 20 times x, the opposite of multiplication, is going to be division. So you'll do 20 divided by 12 to find out what x should be. Okay, these numbers you need to find out which are greater than negative 3.2. So this one you may have to divide it out to find that, and then think about how it is on your number line. Here, you just have to substitute in 6.4 wherever you see P, and 0.02 wherever you see Q, and then solve the equation in the proper order using order of operations. So multiplication and division first, then addition and subtraction. And then here you are just dividing to 25,998 by 16. Okay, I hope this helps you. My video is going to end here in a second because it only does 15 minutes. But you should be able to redo this assignment now.